Hello teacher, it's a pleasure to be here in this day with you, and I want to answer the requirements that you are soliciting in this presentation, okay? I want to read first the topic, and after I'm going to read the statements that I have over here in the computer. And the topic says, how important is English language in your life? Academically, professionally, socially, and personally. And after I have the first statements, I'm going to answer one by one in this presentation. Number 1 says, your opinions and ideas about English learning. Number 2, facts or studies to support your opinion, cite the sources and authors. Number 3, personal experiences about using, learning, teaching, etc. English. Number 4, how will English help you in the future? Okay, I'm going to start answering the first question. How important is English language in your life? Academically. Okay, academically, it's pretty important for me because I'm studying English in UTPL University, and I want to have good grades. I want to have a perfect English in the future. Okay, that's why I'm practicing today, and that's why I'm learning today to speak English. After says professionally. How important is English language in your life? Professionally. Okay, in the future I want to be a translator. I want to be perhaps a teacher of a school, high school, perhaps of a university. Okay, I want to be a professional in these areas. After says socially. Okay, personally I don't have a lot of friends that speak English. Only I have perhaps 6 friends that speak English. But in the future I want to travel to USA, and I want to have a lot of friends to communicate with them, and I want to perhaps have a job over there in USA. I want to be a translator of lawyers, of doctors, of presidents. That is my goal in this life. And personally, I love English. I like to speak English. That is my language. When I was 7 years old, I told to my mom, Mom, I want to speak English, please help me. Please put me in academy. But in that time I didn't have money, and I didn't have the opportunity to go to an academy. But she was telling me every time, okay, son, you will be a great translator, but today I don't have the money. In the future, perhaps you will go to the university, and with our money you will study. Okay, I'm studying with my money today because I love English. I'm going to answer in the following statements. Number 1 says, your opinions and ideas about English learning. My ideas for the English language is that if you want to travel, you need to learn to speak English because the international language is English. If you want to understand to other people in other countries, you need to study English and to dominate English, to speak English, to talk with the people in English. If you want to travel, if you want to have a great job, for example, you want to be a translator, a teacher, or perhaps you want to be an engineer, see, or whatever profession that you want to have, you need to learn to speak English because the international language is the English. The documents come in English. Perhaps your boss speaks English, and perhaps you want to have a TOEFL certificate, you need to speak English. And if you want to study to other countries, you need to speak English because that is an international language. And I have some pages that I was looking for, and for example over here I have the importance of learning English and why it should be fun. And over here I have a paragraph very interesting that I want to read. The popularity of English can be seen in the growing number of people taking the TOEFL and TOEFL test. The most widely used and accepted English exams in the world. ETS creates this test, and for this reason, perhaps readers might be interested in our perception on the importance of language English and why it should be fine. Okay, in the future, I want to have that test. I want to have a certificate of TOEFL because that is an international certificate, and I personally believe that this is a pretty good test, the TOEFL. That's why it's pretty important to learn to speak English, because you have a big opportunity to have a good grade in this test. After, I have other page, and I have 4 topics that I'm going to read fast, and how this shows that the English is very important. For example, communicate with people, push your career forward, get access to knowledge, and enjoy art like never before. I like this. Enjoy art like never before, because if you want to read a book, if you want to go to a museum, if you want to listen a documental, if you want to see a pretty interesting movie, you need to understand the English, because the English is pretty important, because you will enjoy art like never before. Like over here says a paragraph very important also. English lets you feel the culture of the world like no other language. Learning it will offer you the opportunity to do wonderful things also. That's pretty well for me. Okay, I'm going to continue with other page. English, the preferred language for work, business, poll. Okay, I want to read only one paragraph over here. Workers whose jobs require them to interact with people in foreign countries say that English is the dominant language of business, according to a new poll. Okay, that's right. I was working a time in a hotel, and Chinese and Colombian people, Peruvian people, Brazilian people, Mexican people, people of USA, Canadian people, all over the world speak English. And if you don't speak English, you are lost. You are lost. That's and in that time I understood a little of English, and I had a goal to have a best English, but today I understand pretty well English, and my vocabulary is a little big, and my pronunciation also is improving. Okay, I have another page, every talk, that is a page over here, and I want to read this paragraph. Why fluent English language is important for business? Why English over here says. We may have Hollywood to thank for the predominance of the English language throughout much of the world today. Distribution of American movies, television programs, and music has allowed many people living in so-called third world nations to at least become somewhat familiar with spoken English. Okay, this is pretty well for me, because I like to see movies, I like to listen to music in English, and that is pretty well because I understand what is the culture of that country. And for example, over here it says in this paragraph that Hollywood is using this language. That's right, Hollywood every time, all the time is using this language, because if you want to see a fun movie, that's in English. Do you want to watch a documental? That's in English. Okay, and if you want to listen the best music, that's in English. I love the English movies and music. Okay, only I want to continue with the following statement. It says, personal number 2, Pfizer studies to support your opinion. Cite the sources and authors. Okay, I said the sources, okay, and the authors, but I'm going to repeat. Number 1 is over here, hear from our experts. ETS newsroom, and the title is the importance of learning English and why it should be fun. Number 2 was over here I have a English domain, EU English. Why is English important nowadays? That is other page. And number 3 is Reuters. English, the preferred language for world business poll. This is a news. Okay, this is a news of Reuters. And I'm going to continue with the 4th page that says Eurotalk. Eurotalk is a business page. Okay, that were the 4 pages that I used to have my opinions of what is important for English language. Okay, I want to see number 3 statement. I want to answer this. Personal experiences about using, learning, teaching in the same English. When I was in the high school, okay, I went to action camp, Campo de Acción, and over there I had 2 teachers of USA. They didn't understand pretty well Spanish, didn't talk with us because they were learning to speak Spanish over here, and they were only speaking perhaps 1-2 words in Spanish. But all the time they thought that everywhere in the class were to speak English, but nobody spoke English in that class. Okay, in that time I studied English with magazines Awake and Watchtower, and I understood to them, and I told her, perhaps I can translate you, and they told me, okay, there is no problem. That was a big experience because I understood all the words that I listened and that I said. Okay, that was a big experience. After, I was in Baños with my friends in holidays, and we were walking for the street, and a lot of foreign people were coming, and my friends were telling me, "Esteban, could you talk with them?" Okay, I told, there is no problem. I'm going to talk with them. Okay, and I went talking with them, and after I understood all the words that they were saying me, and that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun. And perhaps some words I didn't understood pretty well. I had a friend of USA. He can't speak Spanish and understand pretty well. I can help him. Okay, that is my short experience. When I was working in a hotel also, I understood perhaps some words in English, and that's where I had the opportunity to think that the English will open the doors of my world. Okay, I want to continue with the number 4. How will English help you in the future? Okay, I want to be a translator. That is my dream. I want to be a translator of the president, of the doctors, of the lawyers. Perhaps I want to be a translator of the lawyers. Okay, and that is my dream. Also, I like to teach. I want to be a teacher, perhaps of a high school, a school, of a university. I love English. I like this language, and I want to grow with this culture. Perhaps in the future I will travel to USA. I don't know how, but I will do that. Okay, teacher, that were my answer for these statements, for this topic. this was pretty interesting to prepare this presentation. Okay, thanks, teacher. See you later. And that were my opinions. Okay, see you later.